Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is our first time meeting, I am Starla Quinn, a mindset coach and Christian business consultant. This message comes with extreme urgency, and it's so urgent that it's been very uncomfortable in my spirit. It's been on my mind. It was almost like a hunting, like an urge, like I had to get this message out. So, whoever this message is for, take it seriously and act immediately on whatever it is that God is telling you to do. Okay, so this message comes to me in three consecutive messages. Each night, for the past 3 nights, every dream that I've had was of somebody that's actually passed on right now in my life. I go to God and I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What are you trying to tell me? I took some notes because I did not want to miss a beat. So the first dream was I went to clean out my relative's apartment because she was deceased. They called me and they're like, come and clean out her apartment. So I'm in there and I'm cleaning everything out, and I didn't want anything that she had. And I told them they could, give it to other relatives or whatever. I didn't want to take anything, except there were some snacks on the table. And I said, well, I'll take the snacks and stuff because I had a 1-year-old and he wanted them. So I said, I'll take the food. There's no point in letting it go to waste. I'll take it and use it. So as I was loading up the food, she appeared, like her spirit appeared behind me, and there was like a darkness all around us, like her electricity was off, so we were kind of operating in the dark. So you could imagine having a deceased spirit show up behind you in the dark, in this dim light. So she said, what are you doing taking my food? And I stopped. Okay, so in that dream, the revelation that he gave me was, some of you are resisting. You're holding on to a season that has already come to an end. And her trying to hold on to what she had, even though she had gone, he's saying, you have to let go of those dead things. And you can't walk into the light of a new situation because you're still trying to hold on to old things. Like you're lingering around trying to see what's going on in a dead situation. Situations that didn't work, maybe relationships that failed, things that just didn't work. You're holding on to those things even though God has already closed that door, and he's trying to bring you into a new thing. You don't want to leave the place you live. You don't want to leave the friends you have or the people you deal with, or you don't want to let go of, it could be a business or a business idea or something that you're holding on to that God is saying, that thing is dead. I don't care how much energy you put into it, how much time you spend around it. You keep going back to this dead thing. So it was like I said, when I went to her apartment, and she's been dead, but it was as if she just died. So he's saying things that have been dead, I've already put those things to rest. You refuse to walk away from them and you keep going back to them. And because of that, your new thing, the thing that you could have already had by now, whether it be a financial situation, it could be some kind of a breakthrough, it could be a new house or a new relationship. He's like, you can't walk into that new thing because you keep going back to the thing that's already dead. That thing is over with, it's gone. And he wants you to let that thing go so that you can see the light of that new thing and move into that. Okay, so this second dream, on the second night that I had, there were 2 deceased people. They're deceased in my life right now, but in the dream they were alive. And they're in the car with me, and I'm driving all around, like rearranging my entire schedule, trying to please them and satisfy them and find them food that they wanted to eat. And they were making it kind of difficult for me to do so, but I was going out of my way to try and please these people. So in that, he's saying that there are some people and things in your life that you've been pouring yourself into, And these people are not returning that thing to you. So they're just taking and taking, and they're not putting anything into you. They're depleting you. And because you're pouring so much of yourself into them, you're a lover of people who may not love you the same way. Because the two people that were in the car with me, I tried my best for them for years of my life, half of my life, to serve them and to be there for them and to do for them and carry them. And they had hatred in their hearts. They had this wrongdoing that they were inflicting upon me. It's like they were selfish and they were stingy, and I would go to them for help years ago, and I couldn't get help from them. And they were able to help. They would have the means to help me somehow. One time it was food. I was really young, and I was homeless at one point, and I went to one of these people for food, and they denied me. Yet she sat there and she counted out all this money that she had for herself. So they were these kinds of people. The other one, he would take money that was meant for us growing up. My mom would leave money with him to feed us, and he would take this money and drive over to his ex-wife and give the money to her, and we'd be starving at home. So these are the people that were in the car with me. But as I grew up in this life, I took care of them, I helped them, I served them, and I didn't repay them for the thing that they did to me. That's not up to me. God is the judge of that. So I put it in his hands, and I did what he asked me to do. As I stated, me trying to please them when they were in the car with me in this dream. He's saying to you that whoever it is you're pouring into, that's not reciprocating. They're leaving you empty and depleted. And you're going out of your way to be the lover of people who can't love you back or don't love you back for some reason. They don't want you to move ahead. They don't want you to prosper, and they're not going to pour anything into you to make that happen. If anything, they're going to hold you back, because in that dream, when I rearranged my schedule and I put off everything I had to do to please them, it kept me from getting to where I had to go. So he's saying, whatever you're doing and whoever's in your life or around you, whatever situation you're in, you're pouring out upon them is keeping you from getting to where you're supposed to be going. He's called you to go somewhere to do some things, and you've been putting it off. Whether it be starting your business, whether it be going to a new place, you haven't gone because you feel like, I have to stay behind in order to save these people. If I leave, what's going to happen to this person? Or if I don't help these people, then this is going to happen to them. But God is saying, you need to put all of that in my hands and allow me to take care of them so that you can move into the thing that I'm calling you into. So in this third dream, this person is passed on, but in the dream he was alive. And what happened, to sum it up, he the whole time was pretending to be on our side. He was there with us, and he was pretending to help us, to the point where he lured us into his place, and he was weird. He started acting weird. And I remember looking up thinking, okay, he's not what he seems. He's not what he seems. And as I said that, I looked down and he has like a knife in his hand. So the whole time he's pretending to be for us when he was against us. So before he could do anything, I managed to escape. And I ran down to some people that I knew at the end of the block to try and get some help from them. And I'm telling them things, and they are going against what I'm saying. They don't understand what I'm saying, and they're trying to make it seem like what I'm saying, it doesn't make sense. It's weird. So in that, the Lord wants you to know that people that pretend to be for you, they don't want to see you move forward. They don't want to see you succeed, because they don't understand what God is doing in your life. And you're going to people and you're asking them for approval on what God has already told you. When God gives you a message or he gives you an idea and he tells you to move, you're going to other people and you're asking them, so what do you think about this? If you get a business idea, you're like, okay, so I got this idea. What do you think about that? And they're coming against it, and every time they reject it or they make you feel like what you're doing doesn't make sense or it's not a good idea, or if you're like, okay, I'm gonna move here or there, and they're like, oh, don't move here because of this and because of that, they're going to discourage you from what God is calling you to do. So he does not want you looking for approval from those people, because even though they may be people that you are acquainted with, they may be friendly and you might have known them for a long time, or maybe they're relatives that you live with, or it could be a spouse, anybody, and they pretend like, I want you to make it, I want you to become everything that God is calling you to be. I want you to start the business. I want you to find success. I want you to succeed. I want you to do that. But behind the scenes, they have other motives, and it's not because they're against you or because they dislike you. It's because they cannot see you moving out of a situation that they're still possibly going to be stuck in. It's hard for people to see you move ahead when they don't feel like they are moving ahead. If they're revolving, it's hard to see you evolve, because you getting out of that revolving circle, it disrupts the flow of their thing. So they can't see you move up. Now, some people don't want you to move up. It's just how they feel within themselves. It's like, I don't want to see you prosper if I haven't prospered. Sometimes it could be that thing. So for that reason, God is like, stop telling people everything that I'm telling you. If I call you, it wasn't a conference call. If I wanted them to know something, then I would have told them. But I'm telling you for you. And he doesn't want you sharing that information, because he doesn't want you to be discouraged, because you go and share a message that God gave you, and then somebody tells you something and then it discourages you. He doesn't want that. He wants you to hold on to what he's giving you. He wants you to take silent action. Move in silence. Don't tell everybody every little thing that you're doing. Sometimes we can get overly excited and we want everybody to know what we're doing or what God called us to. And it's like, we're working for the kingdom and we have this mission and we just want other people to be a part of it. But God is like, no, you can't do that. When the manifestation of it happens, they'll see it then. But until then, stay silent, stay persistent, stay obedient to what he's calling you to do. So he's saying you must go and don't stop. And don't tell anyone, even if it doesn't make sense, what he's calling you to. If you need clarity, ask God, and he will show you in a way that you will understand, or he will send someone to tell you. He will send someone to tell you. So he sent me here to the story of Lot, when he told him to flee Sodom and Gomorrah, and he said, don't look back. And remember when his wife looked back and she was turned to a pillar of salt? Well, that's God saying, listen, you looking back on those dead things, those things that I've already destroyed, I've already closed, there's nothing back there for you. And looking back is only going to hold you back. It's going to keep you from getting into the land that I am leading you into the promises that I'm leading you into. I just need you to be obedient, and I need you to keep moving forward and stop looking back on dead things. So I don't know who these messages are for and what you're going through right now, but God knows. And as I said, these messages came with an urgency. He's looking at somebody, some of you, and he's like, your new thing has arrived, and it's like your harvest is in, and you're letting it wither up on the vine because you're trying to stay in this barren land. He's like, no, don't. And stop trying to break down doors that God has already closed. Stop trying to break in, and that's how it is when we don't want to let go of that old dead thing, maybe because of feelings or emotions or whatever the case may be. God knows your heart, and he knows your situation and what you're going through. And like I said, that urgency is God saying you need to go now. Go right now. Do not delay. because whatever God is doing, you don't want to miss it. He does not want you to miss what he's doing right now. And there is a mighty move of God happening in the earth right now. So many will fall, but so many are going to be risen into their promised land. He does not want you to miss this, because he knows that your name is being called for to go higher. Your name is being called to go higher. You're one of the chosen ones. And he's like, don't let anything keep you from moving into that promised land. He doesn't want that. He's like, you need to detach yourself from those things that are dead, that are not moving, that are stagnant, that are in the wilderness and don't want to leave the wilderness. Don't let those things keep you out of the promised land and the things that God is trying to do with you and for you right now. Walk into your new thing. Continue to seek God for clarity. Take this message to him to get clarity and to get confirmation and revelation, as you should with any word you get from anyone. Go to God for yourself. I remember my great grandmother once told me, go see for yourself, and I use that for everything. It doesn't matter who it is. Take it to God and let him confirm it in your spirit, and he will. I pray that this message has blessed you guys on today, and maybe this cleared up some things that you were feeling in your spirit and some things that were maybe laid on your hearts, and God just answered some questions for you today. And if that is the case, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about what you guys are dealing with and how God is moving in your lives. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this message, please share this with them. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe so that I can stay in contact with you guys and deliver the messages that God puts on my heart for you. I love you guys to the heavens and back, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care.